Yo, what it is, you know what it is. It's your man, King Musa. Welcome to the Cheat Sheet, where we decode success for creators, professors, and business owners. I'm your host, King Musa, and today we'll be diving into student life, resources, and what it takes to create a supportive campus environment for all. Our guest today is someone who plays a key role in supporting students at Stephen F. Austin State University. Joining us is George Montgomery, the Assistant Dean of Students. He's here to talk about his initiatives and resources offered by the Dean of Students Office and how they can help SFA be an incredible place to grow and thrive. Welcome, George.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, sir.
Excited to be here.
I'm so glad you're excited. So before we get started though, all right, I gotta ask a little icebreaker. All right.
Are you sure?
On the School of Music, no, the School of Fine Arts is hosting a comedian on the 30th, right? Gary Warren or something, right? Who's your favorite comedian?
Don't have one. I like everybody for various reasons, so kind of for me to select one favorite is too hard. I can give you a list of people that I like.
Yeah.
So, Dave Chappelle, Richard Pryor, Jim Carrey, Damon Wayans, Keenan Wayans, Red Fox, to name a few, Eddie Murphy,
Yeah.
Kevin Hart, those types of people. Primarily like a lot of storytellers.
Okay. Now, you mentioned the Wayne brothers, right? Do you feel like comedy now versus comedy then is the same?
No, just like anything, everything evolves.
Okay.
There are certain aspects of it, foundationally speaking, just like with anything in life, there's foundations that kind of people build upon and you grow and evolve. Just like basketball in the 1940s is different from the basketball that's played now, or dancing is a little bit evolved from
Right.
the way that it is now.
Okay. Well, we're gonna go ahead and get started, right? Can you introduce yourself and what you do here at SFA?
George Montgomery, I'm the Assistant Dean of Students.
Okay. Can you tell us a little bit about your role?
My role is to help support students in any way that they may need it, whatever barriers that they face in various capacities. So whether it's food insecurities, housing insecurities, any type of crisis, any type of student conduct or behavioral issues, student wellness, oversee the lumberjack pantry, student emergency aid fund, those types of things.
Okay. So it sounds well-rounded. But before we dive into your career, I do want to know where you from, did your parents go to school, and what got you into wanting to, assist people?
Originally from New Orleans, but I've lived all over.
The boot?
Yep. My dad graduated from Tulane. My mom went to Dillard for a little bit. And the other part is what got me wanting to help people.
Yeah.
I was an RA in college, and I found that to be more rewarding than what I was going on, what my career path was originally. In terms of, I was a business major with an accounting minor,
Okay.
and I didn't just want to deal with numbers. I wanted to help people. And although you can use numbers to help people in terms of financial planning, all those kind of things, it just wasn't doing it for me.
Where did you go to college at?
St. Augustine's University in Raleigh, North Carolina.
North Carolina. Okay. Yes, sir. Now, what are your interests and hobbies when you're not doing work?
Traveling, cooking, eating, collecting records, sports, both playing, watching, that kind of stuff.
Records?
Yes.
You want to go into that a little bit?
No.
Nah, come on. Do you have like the current Kendrick's like your records, or do you like have like things I can't even think about, like 45, 60s, all that?
I have a little bit of everything. I mean, it's a growing collection, so kind of have to.
What was your first one?
My first record?
Yeah.
Ever?
Yeah.
It was, I don't know, because I don't never buy just one record at a time, but it was, I bought Frank Sinatra's My Way, Purple Rain, Prince, the Temptations anthology album,
Okay.
Denise Williams Waiting, and then it was a Beatles 2 record set that I saw that I picked up.
Okay. Nice. Do you have like the big board like my aunties and uncles might have, or do you have like the current little, you know, modern?
Um, I mean, it's I wouldn't say it's the big board. It's a turntable that I bought. Then I bought a shelf for the turntable, so all my records and turntable is in one place.
Yes, sir. Okay. Now we're gonna dive into your career, right? So, what is the primary role of the dean of students office, and how does it support students?
Uh, to help students navigate any barriers or problems that they may have, in whatever capacity that may look like. Um, in certain cases, it may be you have a problem with your roommate,
Mm-hmm.
somebody's communicating a threat. In other cases, it may be I have a problem with this instructor. I'm going to miss class because I have surgery coming up. I need help paying my e-bill. It could be a situation where you know, don't have food. You need
Yeah.
food, for your residence hall. Um, so whatever the problems may be, we see everything from A to Z, and so my job is to connect students with the proper resources. If I can't give them an answer, I definitely know who can.
Right. Right. Now, do you feel like there's a like a misconception or like a myth about the dean of students office?
Um, I think that's more for what the students may have or what their perception is.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I don't experience a misconception. I think that people know when they need help, they know where to come to, and they,
Okay.
found my office, in which I've seen the uptick in traffic and frequent flyers and visitors and things of that nature. But my door is always open. So at any point in time, whoever needs help, whether I know you or not, whether I've seen you, spoke to you, whatever the case may be, I'm there to help. And so, um, you know, I provide, some type of level of connectivity. So typically when the student comes to see me, they get my email address. My email is connected to my phone. And so regardless of whether it's 2 a.m. or 9 p.m.,
Mm-hmm.
if I'm awake and I see it, I definitely respond to those emails.
Okay. 9 p.m. Shout out to you.
I mean, it's early.
Huh?
That's early. I'm usually up later.
But like opening emails. Okay. I I need to know, how did you get from North Carolina to SFA and to the dean of student assistant dean of students?
How did I get? So once I graduated, I started working as a residence hall director at Livingstone College in Salisbury, North Carolina. From Salisbury, North Carolina, I ended up at West Virginia at Glenville State College. I was a residence hall director and a judicial coordinator for the college, also a Title IX investigator. From there, I ended up at Clemson University. I was the assistant director for the Office of Community and Ethical Standards.
Clemson.
And this was during their football glory years. From there, so I dealt with everything from like student conduct and Title IX solely. I was no longer in residence life. From there, I went to Montgomery College in Rockville, in the Maryland area, the DC, DMV area. And I was there for a few years. And then I ended up leaving there and going to the University of Colorado, where I was the associate director for their conduct office. And I was there for some time. And then I came here for the opportunity to be the assistant dean of students.
What year was that?
I have been here for a year and a half now.
A year and a half?
Yeah.
Okay. Nice. That's it seems like you've been here forever. Like you just from my experience with you
Mm-hmm.
and just your comfortability and everything else like that, like I felt like you've been here forever.
It seems that way. I
Yeah.
don't know if that's a good or a bad thing, but I mean, once you learn the work and you learn your environment and
Mm-hmm.
you actually enjoy what you do, you become more familiar. And so that's probably where it may seem that way, as though I've been here longer than what I actually have.
Right. Now, what would you say is the challenges then? If it doesn't seem like, being here so long and
Mhm.
everything's so easy, what's the challenges to, you know?
Challenges to the work that I do,
Mhm.
or um, I mean, I don't think that there's challenges to the work. The work is the work. Um, you're going to be presented with problems, where regardless of what you do, whether I'm, here at SFA or I'm, a manager at McDonald's or whatever the case may be. There's going to be a problem.
Right.
Um, the comfortability comes from experience. It comes from being able to troubleshoot, problem solve, understanding that you can lean on your colleagues or people who have more knowledge about the SFA landscape, because obviously coming in new, you don't really know what the culture of the environment is, and so you learn certain things. You learn who's in what position,
Right.
but for the most part, um, you gain that experience and you lean on that. I've been in higher ed since 2011,
Right.
and so I've been doing this for a good bit, and so it just drifts off or comes across as um, you know easy.
Do you feel like a police officer? You know how like they just another day to clock in and like,
No, I
okay.
mean, I think for me it's been different because it's not just about, like, there's no task that I'm set out to accomplish each day,
Right.
or there's different things that presents itself. So maybe a student that has a weapon on campus. So from the conduct standpoint, we may need to internally suspend the student, get them off campus, provide, the complainant or the person who may be impacted. We may need to provide them some support. So from a care standpoint, from a support and outreach standpoint, we may reach out to that student. Hey, would you like to relocate rooms?
Hmm.
We can make sure that we get you enough resources so that way you're okay for this particular time. And so it kind of juggles, and so no one day is the same. That's the one thing that I can say. Every day looks different. Everybody has different problems, different issues, and arises. And so when
Right.
somebody walks through the door, you really don't know what, unless you schedule that meeting. But for the most part, you really don't know what the problem or the issue is, and so you just kind of figure it out and talk through and about what the issue may be and how to properly address it to get them to a level of being able to comfort and overcome what the problem may be.
Yes, sir. Okay. I like that you got it like simplified. Um, Initiatives that students and faculty should be excited for that are going on in the student's office. I feel like there's always something going on.
Um, I don't know about if I would call them initiatives. I think we're always looking to grow and adapt and create and provide new offerings for students. And so, we're collaborating with various offices across campus. We're
Yes.
collaborating with, um, you know, different departments. We're showing up to student events, all the things that we could possibly do to provide a culture of collaboration
Hmm.
to be as tangible. I think that was my biggest thing when I was coming here, is to make sure that we're tangible.
What does that mean?
That we're able to be touched. We're not just the the princess in the tallest tower, locked
Mm,
away. We're humans, we're people, and so we try to be as I try to be as sociable as possible, try to be as visible as possible, to where you see that I'm a regular person. I wear
yeah.
jeans, I wear J's. I'm very, um, very,
Gucci down to the stuff.
I'm very sociable, and I try to connect with as many people as I possibly can. So I think that's just the true nature of being in my position of being accessible to students.
I feel that. Okay. Um, I do I do have to ask you, right? If there was an advice that you would give somebody who is they've been an RA, they've been a part of, the whole Title IX, all of that stuff, and they're like, you know what, I look up to George. how can they find themselves, getting to where you're at?
It just takes experience. I mean, you can go about it a number of different ways, especially in higher education. Um, in certain in certain industries, you may have to wait out somebody for they may have been in their job for 20 years and now
Mhm.
they're just on the last leg waiting to retire. But in higher education, you have the opportunity. You have hundreds and thousands of colleges across the country, and so if you're willing to like get up and go, there's an opportunity somewhere out there for you. But if you have the experience, it's just a matter of putting yourselves in situations that allow you to grow, putting yourselves in challenging situations, being comfortable with being uncomfortable.
Right.
For me, when I was in undergrad, that was public speaking. So I put myself in a position where I literally had to speak publicly in front of a room full of peers, my organization from on a local and national level. And so
Mhm.
that got me to the point where I no longer was I was I was no longer afraid of public speaking. I was more comfortable with it.
Yes, sir. Okay. Okay. So you just gotta go through the experience, take the opportunities, and grow, right?
Yeah, you have to gain the experience some way, shape, or form. So you have to get in the door somewhere,
Hmm.
but then maximize your position. When you do get that opportunity and learn all you can from that position, and at that point in time, um, you'll find yourselves in good company and start to get those recommendations and see those postings in which may pique your interest and things of that nature.
Okay. I appreciate that. Now, before we go, my final question: as a student, I want to know, what advice do you have for us for just success? Overall, you know, success in the semester. Yeah.
Success in the semester, be disciplined. I think that was the biggest thing for me. I had a schedule when I was an undergrad. I mean, I still essentially have a schedule now.
Hmm.
My Sunday afternoons through Thursday 5 o'clock, I was all dedicated academically, and then I was a very social person between Thursday night and Saturday night.
Yeah.
That was just the way that I worked because I needed the break, I needed the balance, I needed the social life, and a part of the student development theory is to be able to garner some of those social relationships. And one of the things that kind of impacted everybody
Right.
has been obviously COVID, but you miss essentially 2 years of being able to develop as a person, to be able to develop as a student, to ingratiate yourself with your various circles. And so I think that balance and discipline is definitely important because, for one, you're here to get an education, you're here to develop yourself into what you desire to be moving
Hmm.
forward. And so you're sharpening your toolkit and getting all your skill sets to be successful moving forward. But then two, you want to be able to develop those lifelong friendships, whether they are short term or long term, but those impactful relationships with
Hmm.
people across various cultures, various beliefs, various perspectives. And that's a part of the college experience too. It's the joining clubs and organizations. It's going to the games. It's going to the parties. It's
Yeah.
doing all of the things, and figuring out what it is that you want to be and what you desire and what you like.
Okay. Yes, sir. Um, do you have anything else you want to shout out before we go?
I do not actually.
Okay. Yes, sir. Well, I do appreciate you. Thank you, George, for sharing your insight and your incredible work you've been doing in the Dean of Students office to support the SFA community. It is clear that creating a positive and inclusive environment is at the heart of what you do. To our listeners, remember, success starts with asking for help and using the resources available to you. Subscribe to the cheat sheet and follow us on social media and stay tuned for more inspiring episodes. This is King Musa signing off, encouraging you to stay connected and make the most of your college experience. See y'all later.